I was popular, says Aunt Rose. I wasn't no thinner then, only more stationary in the flesh. In time to come, Lily, don't be surprised. Change is a fact of God. From this, no one is excused. Only a person like your mama stands on one foot. She don't notice how big her behind is getting, and sings in the canary's ear for 30 years. Who's listening? Papa's in the shop. You and Seymour thinking about yourself. So she waits in a spotless kitchen for a kind word and thinks, poor Rosie. Poor Rosie! If there was more life in my little sister, she would know my heart is a regular college of feelings. And there is such information between my corset and me that her whole married life is a kindergarten. Nowadays, you could find me any time in a hotel, uptown or downtown. Who needs an apartment to live like a maid with a dust rag in the hand, sneezing? I'm in very good with the bus boys. It's more interesting than home, all kinds of people, everybody with a reason. And my reason, Lily, is a long time ago I said to the forelady, Missus, if I can't sit by the window, I can't sit. If you can't sit, girlie, she says politely, go stand on the street corner. And that's how I got unemployed in novelty wear. For my next job, I answered an ad which said, refined young lady, medium salary, cultural organization. I went by trolley to the address, the Russian Art Theater of 2nd Avenue, where they played only the best Yiddish plays. They needed a ticket seller, someone like me who likes the public, but is very sharp on crooks. The man who interviewed me was the manager, a certain type. Immediately he said, Rosie Lieber, you surely got a build on you. Takes all kinds, Mr. Krimberg. Don't misunderstand me, little girl, he said. I appreciate. A young lady lacking fore and aft. Her blood is so busy warming the toes and the fingertips, it don't have time to circulate where it's most required. Everybody likes kindness. I said to him, only don't be fresh, Mr. Krimberg, and we'll make a good bargain. We did. $9 a week, a glass of tea every night, a free ticket once a week for Mama, and I could go watch rehearsals any time I want. My first $9 was in the grocer's hands, ready to move on already, when Krimberg said to me, Rosie, here's a great gentleman. A member of this remarkable theater wants to meet you. Impressed, no doubt, by your big brown eyes. And who was it, Lily? Listen to me. Before my very eyes was Volodya Vlashkin, called by the people of those days the Valentino of 2nd Avenue. I took one look, and I said to myself, where did a Jewish boy grow up so big? Just outside Kiev, he told me. How? My mama nursed me till I was 6. I was the only boy in the village to have such health. My goodness, Vlashkin, 6 years old? She must have had shredded wheat there, not breasts, poor woman. My mother was beautiful, he said. She had eyes like stars. He had such a way of expressing himself. It brought tears. To Krimberg, Vlashkin said after this introduction, who is responsible for hiding this wonderful young person in a cage? That is where the ticket seller sells. So, David, go in there and sell tickets for a half hour. I have something in mind in regards to the future of this girl and this company. Go, David. Be a good boy. And you, Miss Lieber, please, I suggest Feinberg's for a glass of tea. The rehearsals are long. I enjoy a quiet interlude with a friendly person. So he took me there, Feinberg's, then around the corner. A place so full of Hungarians it was deafening. In the back room was a table of honor for him. On the tablecloth, embroidered by the lady of the house, was, Here Vlashkin eats. We finished one glass of tea in quietness out of thirst, when I finally made up my mind what to say. Mr. Vlashkin, I saw you a couple weeks ago, even before I started working here, in the Seagull. Believe me, If I was that girl, I wouldn't look even for a minute on the young bourgeois fellow. He could fall out of the play altogether. How Chekhov could put him in the same play as you, I can't understand." "You liked me?" he asked, taking my hand and kindly patting it. "Well, well, young people still like me." "So. And you like the theater too?" "Good. And you, Rose? You know, you have such a nice hand, so warm to the touch, such a fine skin. Tell me, why do you wear a scarf around your neck? You only hide your young throat. These are not olden times, my child, to live in shame." "Who's ashamed?" I said, taking off the kerchief. But my hand right away went to the kerchief's place, because the truth is, it really was olden times, and I was still of a nature to melt with shame. "Have some more tea, my dear?" "Oh, no, thank you. I am a samovar already." "Dorfman," he hollered like a king, "bring this child a seltzer with fresh ice." In weeks to follow, I had the privilege to know him better and better as a person, also the opportunity to see him in his profession. The time was autumn, the theater full of coming and going, rehearsing without end. After The Seagull flopped, the salesman from Istanbul played, a great success. Here, the ladies went crazy. On the opening night, in the middle of the first scene, one missus, a widow or her husband worked too long hours, began to clap and sing out, "Oi, oi, Vlashkin!" Soon there was such a tumult, the actors had to stop acting. Vlashkin stepped forward. Only not Vlashkin to the eyes, a younger man with pitch-black hair, lively on restless feet, his mouth clever. A half a century later, at the end of the play, he came out again. A grey philosopher, a student of life from only reading books, his hands as smooth as silk. I cried to think who I was. Nothing. And such a man could look at me with interest. Then I got a small raise due to he kindly put in a good word for me, and also, for 50 cents a night, I was given the pleasure, together with cousins, in-laws, and plain stage-struck kids, to be part of a crowd scene, and to see, like he saw every single night, the hundreds of pale faces waiting for his feelings, to make them laugh or bend down their heads in sorrow. The sad day came. I kissed my mama goodbye. Vlashkin helped me to get a reasonable room near the theater to be more free. Also, my outstanding friend would have a place to recline away from the noise of the dressing rooms. She cried and she cried. "This is a different way of living, Mama," I said. "Besides, I am driven by love." You? You are nothing, a rotten hole and a piece of cheese. Are you telling me what is life?" she screamed. Very insulted, I went away from her. But I am good-natured, you know. Fat people are like that, kind. And I thought to myself, poor Mama. It is true. She got more of an idea of life than me. She married who she didn't like, a sick man, his spirit already swallowed up by God. He never washed, he had an unhappy smell, his teeth fell out, his hair disappeared. He got smaller, shriveled up little by little, till goodbye and good luck he was gone. And only came to Mama's mind when she went to the mailbox under the stairs to get the electric bill. In memory of him, and out of respect for mankind, I decided to live for love. Don't laugh, you ignorant girl. Do you think it was easy for me? I had to give Mama a little something. Ruthie was saving up together with your papa for linens, a couple knives and forks. In the morning I had to do piecework if I wanted to keep by myself. So I made flowers. Before lunchtime every day a whole garden grew on my table. This was my Independence lily, dear, blooming, but it didn't have no roots, and its face was paper. Meanwhile, Krimberg went after me too. No doubt, observing the success of Vlashkin, he thought, aha, open sesame. Others in the company similar. After me in those years were the following. Krimberg I mentioned. Karl Zimmer played innocent young fellows with a wig. Charlie Peel, a Christian who fell in the soup by accident, a creator of beautiful sets. Color is his middle name, says Vlashkin, always to the point. I put this in to show you your fat old aunt was not crazy out of loneliness in those noisy years. I had friends among interesting people who admired me for reasons of youth, and that I was a first-class listener. The actresses, Raisele, Maria, Esther Leopold, were only interested in tomorrow. After them was the rich men, producers, the whole garment center. Their past is a pincushion, future, the eye of a needle. Finally the day came. I no longer could keep my tact in my mouth. I said, Vlashkin, I hereby carry your pigeon. You have a wife, children, the whole combination. True. I don't tell stories. I make no pretense. That isn't the question. What is this lady like? It hurts me to ask, but tell me, Vlashkin. A man's life is something I don't clearly see. Little girl, I have told you 100 times, this small room is the convent of my troubled spirit. Here I come to your innocent shelter, to refresh myself in the midst of an agonized life. Ah, Vlashkin, serious, who is this lady? Rosie, she is a fine woman of the middle classes. A good mother to my children, 3 in number, girls all, a good cook, in her youth handsome, now no longer young. You see? Could I be more frank? I entrust you, dear, with my soul. It was some few months later, at the New Year's ball of the Russian Artists' Club, I met Mrs. Vlashkin. A woman with black hair in a low bun, straight and too proud. She sat at a small table, speaking in a deep voice to whoever stopped a moment to converse. Her Yiddish was perfect, each word cut like a special jewel. I looked at her. She noticed me like she noticed everybody, cold like Christmas morning. Then she got tired. Vlashkin called a taxi, and I never saw her again. Poor woman. She did not know I was on the same stage with her. The poison I was to her role. She did not know. Later on that night, in front of my door, I said to Vlashkin, No more. This isn't for me. I am sick from it all. I am no home breaker. Girlie, he said, don't be foolish. No. Goodbye. Good luck, I said. I am sincere. So I went and stayed with Mama for a week's vacation, and cleaned up all the closets, and scrubbed the walls till the paint came off. She was very grateful. All the same, her hard life made her say, Now we see the end. If you live like a bum, you are finally a lunatic. After this few days, I came back to my life. When we met, me and Vlashkin, we said hello and goodbye, and then, for a few sad years, with the head we nodded as if to say, Yes, I know who you are. Meanwhile, in the field was a whole new strategy. Your mama and your grandmama brought around boys. Your own father had a brother, you'd never even seen him, Reuben, a serious fellow. His idealism was his hat and his coat. Rosie, I offer you a big, new, free, happy, unusual life. How? With me. We will raise up the sands of Palestine to make a nation. That is the land of tomorrow for us Jews. Ha, Reuben, I'll go tomorrow then. Rosie, says Reuben, we need strong women like you, mothers and farmers. You don't fool me, Reuben. What you need is dray horses, but for that you need more money. I don't like your attitude, Rose. In that case, go and multiply. Goodbye. Another fellow, Yankel Gurstin, a regular sport, dressed to kill, with such an excitable nature. In those days, it looks to me like yesterday. The youngest girls wore undergarments like Battle Creek, Michigan. To him, it was a matter of seconds. Where did he practice, a Jewish boy? Nowadays, I suppose it is easier, Lily? My goodness! I ain't asking you nothing. Touchy. Well, by now you must know yourself, honey. Whatever you do, life don't stop. It only sits a minute and dreams a dream. While I was saying to all these silly youngsters, no, 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 Vlashkin went to Europe and toured a few seasons. Moscow, Prague, London, even Berlin, already a pessimistic place. When he came back, he wrote a book you could get from the library even today, The Jewish Actor Abroad. If someday you're interested enough in my lonesome years, you could read it. But this talking in the street opened the happy road up for more discussions, in regard to many things. For instance, the management, very narrow-minded, wouldn't give him any more certain young men's parts. Fools! What youngest man knew enough about life to be as young as him? "Rosie, Rosie," he said to me one day, "I see. By the clock on your rosy, rosy face, you must be 30. The hands are slow, Vlashkin. On a week before Thursday, I was 34. Is that so? Rosie, I worry about you. It has been on my mind to talk to you. You are losing your time. Do you understand it? A woman should not lose her time." "Oh, Vlashkin, if you are my friend, what is time?" For this he had no answer, only looked at me surprised. We went instead full of interest, but not with our former speed, up to my new place on 94th Street. The same pictures on the wall, all of Vlashkin, only now everything painted red and black, which was stylish, and new upholstery. A few years ago, there was a book by another member of that fine company, an actress, the one that learned English very good and went uptown, Maria Kafkaz, in which he says certain things regarding Vlashkin, such as, he was her lover for 11 years, she's not ashamed to write this down. Without respect for him, his wife and children, or even others who also may have feelings in the matter. Now, Lily, don't be surprised. This is called a fact of life. An actor's soul must be like a diamond. The more faces it got, the more shining is his name. Honey, you will no doubt love and marry one man, and have a couple kids, and be happy forever till you die tired. More than that, a person like us don't have to know. But a great artist like Volodya Vlashkin, in order to make a job on the stage, he's got to practice. I understand it now. To him, life is like a rehearsal. Myself, when I saw him and the father-in-law, an older man in love with a darling young girl, his son's wife, played by Razel Amazel, I cried. What he said to this girl, how he whispered such sweetness, how all his hot feelings were on his face. Lily, all this experience he had with me, the very words were the same. You can imagine how proud I was. So, the story creeps to an end. I noticed it first on my mother's face, the rotten handwriting of time scribbled up and down her cheeks, across her forehead, back and forth. A child could read. It said, "Old, old, old." But it troubled my heart most to see these realities scratched on Vlashkin's wonderful expression. First, the company fell apart. The theater ended. Esther Leopold died from being very aged. Krimberg had a heart attack. Maria went to Broadway. Also, Razel had changed her name to Rosalind and was a big comical hit in the movies. Vlashkin himself, no place to go, retired. It said in the paper, "An actor without peer, he will write his memoirs and spend his last years in the bosom of his family, among his thriving grandchildren, the apple of his wife's doting eye." This is journalism. We made for him a great dinner of honor. At this dinner, I said to him for the last time, I thought, "Goodbye, dear friend, topic of my life, now we part." And to myself I said further, "Finished. This is your lonesome bed, a lady what they call fat and 50. You made it personally. From this lonesome bed, you will finally fall to a bed not so lonesome, only crowded with 1,000,000 bones." And now comes, Lily, guess. Last week, washing my underwear in the basin. I get a buzz on the phone. Excuse me, is this the Rose Lieber formerly connected with the Russian Art Theater? It is. Well, how do you do, Rose? This is Vlashkin. Vlashkin? Volodya Vlashkin? In fact, how are you, Rose? Living, Vlashkin, thank you. You are all right? Really, Rose? Your health is good? You are working? My health, considering the weight it must carry, is first class. I am back for some years now, where I started, in novelty wear. Very interesting. Listen, Vlashkin, tell me the truth. What's on your mind? My mind? Rosie, I am looking up an old friend, an old warm-hearted companion of more joyful days. My circumstances, by the way, are changed. I am retired, as you know. Also, I am a free man. What? What do you mean? Mrs. Vlashkin is divorcing me. What come over her? Did you start drinking or something from melancholy? She is divorcing me for adultery. But Vlashkin, you should excuse me. Don't be insulted. But you got maybe 17, 18 years on me, and even me, all this nonsense, this daydreams and nightmares, is mostly for the pleasure of conversation alone. I pointed all this out to her. My dear, I said, my time is past. My blood is as dry as my bones. The truth is, Rose, she isn't accustomed to have a man around all day, reading out loud from the papers the interesting events of our time, waiting for breakfast, waiting for lunch. So all day she gets madder and madder. By night-time a furious old lady gives me my supper. She has information from the last 50 years to pepper my soup. Surely there was a Judas in that theater saying every day, Vlashkin, 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 and while my heart was circulating with his smiles, he was on the wire passing the dope to my wife. Such a foolish end, Volodya, to such a lively story. What is your plans? First, could I ask you for dinner and the theater? Uptown, of course. After this, we are old friends. I have money to burn. What your heart desires. Others are like grass. The north wind of time has cut out their heart. Of you, Rosie, I recreate only kindness. What a woman should be to a man, you are to me. Do you think, Rosie, a couple of old pals like us could have a few good times among the material things of this world? My answer, Lily, in a minute was altogether, yes, yes, come up, I said. Ask the room by the switchboard, let us talk. So he came that night, and every night in the week we talked of his long life. Even at the end of time, a fascinating man. And like men are too till time's end, trying to get away in one piece. Listen, Rosie, he explains the other day, I was married to my wife, do you realize, nearly half a century. What good was it? Look at the bitterness. The more I think of it, the more I think we would be fools to marry. Volodya Vlashkin, I told him straight. When I was young, I warmed your cold back many a night, no questions asked. You admit it. I didn't make no demands. I was soft-hearted. I didn't want to be called Rosie Lieber, a breaker-up of homes. But now, Vlashkin, you are a free man. How could you ask me to go with you on trains, to stay in strange hotels among Americans, not your wife? Be ashamed. So now, darling Lily, tell this story to your mamma from your young mouth. She don't listen to a word from me. She only screams, I'll faint, I'll faint. Tell her. After all, I'll have a husband, which, as everybody knows, a woman should have at least one before the end of the story. My goodness, I am already late. Give me a kiss. After all, I watched you grow from a plain seed. So give me a couple wishes on my wedding day. A long and happy life. Many years of love. Hug Mama. Tell her from Aunt Rose. Goodbye and good luck. The used boy raisers. There were 2 husbands disappointed by eggs. I don't like them that way either, I said. Make your own eggs. They sighed in unison. One man was livid, one was pallid. There isn't a drink around here, is there? Asked Livid. Never find one here, said Pallid. Don't look. Dry as damn house. Pallid pushed the eggs away, pain and disgust his escutcheon. Livid said, No, really, isn't there a drink? Beer, he hoped. Nothing, said Pallid, who'd been through the pantries, closets, and refrigerator looking for a white shirt. You're damn right, I said. I buttoned the high button of my powder blue duster. I reached under the kitchen table for a brown paper bag full of an embroidery which asked God to bless our home. I was completing this motto for the protection of my sons, who were also Livids. It is true that some months earlier, from a far place, the British plains in Africa, he had written hospitably to Pallid. I do think they're fine boys, you understand. I love them too, but Faith is their mother, and now Faith is your wife. I'm so much away. If you want to think of them as yours, old man, go ahead. Why, thank you, Pallid had replied, airmail, overwhelmed. Then he implored the boys, when not in use, to play in their own room. He made all efforts to be kind. Now, as we talked of time passed and upon us, I pierced the ranch house that nestles in the shade of a cloud and a Norway maple, just under the golden script. Ha-ha, said Livid, dripping coffee on his pajama pants. You'll never guess whom I met up with, Faith. Who? I asked. Saw your old boyfriend, Clifford, at the Green Cock. He looks well. One thing must be said. He addressed Pallid. She takes good care of her men. True, said Pallid. How is he? I asked coolly. What's he doing? I haven't seen him in 2 years. Oh, you'll never guess. He's marrying. A darling girl. She was with him. Little tootsies, little round bottom, little tummy. She must be 22, but she looks 17. One long yellow braid down her back. A darling girl. Stubby nose, fat little underlip. Her eyes put on in pencil, shoulders down like a dancer's, slender neck. Oh, darling, darling. You certainly observed her, said Pallid. I have a functioning retina, said Livid. Then he went on. Better watch out, Faith. You'd be surprised. The dear little chicks are hatching out all over the place. All the sunny schoolgirls rolling their big black eyes. I hope you're really settled this time. To me, whatever is under the dam is in another county. However, in my life, you remain an important person historically, he said, and that's why I feel justified in warning you. I must warn you. Watch out, sweetheart, he said, leaning forward to whisper harshly and give me a terrible bellyache. What's all this about? Asked Pallid innocently. In the first place, she's settled, and then she's still an attractive woman. Look at her. Oh, yes, said Livid, looking. An attractive woman. Magnificent sometimes. We were silent for several seconds in honor of that generous remark. Then Livid said, Yes, magnificent, but I just wanted to warn you, Faith. He pushed his eggs aside finally and remembered Clifford. A mystery wrapped in an enigma. I wonder why he wants to marry. I don't know. It just ties a man down, I said. And yet, said Pallid seriously, what would I be without marriage? In luminous recollection. A gay dog, he replied. At this moment the boys entered, Richard the horse thief and Tonto the crack shot. Daddy, they shouted. They touched Livid, tickled him, unbuttoned his pajama top, whistled at the several gray hairs coloring his chest. They tweaked his ear and rubbed his beard the wrong way. Well, well, he cautioned. How are you, boys? Have you been well? You look fine, sturdy. How are your grades? He dreamed that they were just up from Eton for the holidays. I don't go to school, said Tonto. I go to the park. I'd like to hear the child read, said Livid. Me, I can read, Daddy, said Richard. I have a book with 100 pages. Well, well, said Livid, get it. I kindled a fresh pot of coffee. I scrubbed cups and harassed Pallet into opening a sticky jar of damson plum jam. Very shortly what could be read had been, and Livid, knotting the tie strings of his pants vigorously, approached me at the stove. Faith, he admonished, that boy can't read a tinker's dam. 7 years old. 8 years old, I said. Yes, said Pallet, who had just remembered the soap cabinet and was rummaging in it for a pint. If they were my sons, in actuality, as they are in everyday life, I would send them to one of the good parochial schools in the neighborhood where reading is taught. Reading. St. Bartholomew's, St. Bernard's, St. Joseph's. Livid became deep purple and gasped. Over my dead body. Merd, he said in deference to the children. I've said, yes, you may think of the boys as your own, but if I ever hear they've come within an inch of that church, I'll run you through. I was 14 years old when in my own good sense I walked out of that grotto of deception, head up. You son of a bitch, I don't give a damn how au courant it is these days, how gracious to be seen under a dome on Sunday. Fish, hypocrisy, corruption, cave-dwellers, idiots, morons. Recalling childhood and home, poor Livid writhed in his seat. Pallet listened, head to one side, his brows gathering the onsets of grief. You know, he said slowly, we iconoclasts, we freethinkers, we Latter-day Masons, we idealists, we dreamers, we are never far from our nervous old mother, the Church. She is never far from us. Wherever we are, we can hear, no matter how faint, her hourly bells tolling the countryside, reverberating in the cities, bringing to our civilized minds the passionate deed of Mary. Every hour on the hour we are startled with remembrance of what was done for us. For us! Livid muttered in great pain. Those bastards, oh, those contemptible, damnable. Do we have to do the 19th century all over again? All right, he bellowed, facing us all. I'm ready. That Newman. He turned to me for approval. You know, I said, this subject has never especially interested me. It's your little dish of lava. Pallet spoke softly, staring past the arched purple windows of his soul. I myself, although I lost God a long time ago, have never lost faith. What the hell are you talking about, you moron? Roared Livid. I have never lost my love for the wisdom of the Church of the World. When I go to sleep at night, I inadvertently pray. I also do so when I rise. It is not to God. It is to that unifying memory out of childhood. The first words I ever wrote were, what are the sacraments? Faith. Can you ever forget your old grandfather intoning Kaddish? It will sound in your ears forever. Are you kidding? I was furious to be drawn into their conflict. Kaddish! What do I know about Kaddish? Who's dead? You know my opinions perfectly well. I believe in the diaspora, not only as a fact, but a tenet. I'm against Israel on technical grounds. I'm very disappointed that they decided to become a nation in my life. I believe in the diaspora. After all, they are the chosen people. Don't laugh. They really are. But once they're huddled in one little corner of a desert, they're like anyone else. Frenchies, Italians, temporal nationalities. Jews have one hope only, to remain a remnant in the basement of world affairs. No, I mean something else. A splinter in the toe of civilizations. A victim to aggravate the conscience. Livid and Pallet were astonished at my outburst, since I rarely express my opinion on any serious matter, but only live out my destiny, which is to be, until my expiration date, laughingly, the servant of man. I continued, I hear they don't even look like Jews anymore, a bunch of dirt farmers with no time to read. They're your own people, Pallet accused, dilating in the nostril, clenching his jaw, and they're under the severest attack. This is not the time to revile them. I had resumed my embroidery. I sighed. My needle was now deep in the clouds, which were pearl gray in late afternoon. I am only trying to say that they aren't meant for geographies, but for history. They are not supposed to take up space, but to continue in time. They looked at me with such grief that I decided to consider all sides of the matter. I said, Christ probably had all that trouble, now that you mention it, because he knew he was going to gain the whole world, but he forgot Jerusalem. When you married us, said Paley, and accused me, didn't you forget Jerusalem? I never forget a thing, I said. Anyway, guess what? I just read somewhere that England is bankrupt. The country is wadded with installment paper. Livid's hand trembled as he offered Paley a light. Nonsense, he said. That's not true. Nonsense. The great British island is the tight little fist of the punching arm of the Commonwealth. What's true is true, I said, smiling. Well, I said, since no one stirred, do you think you'll ever get to work today, either of you? Oh, my dear, I haven't seen you and the boys in over a year. It's quite pleasant and cozy here this morning, said Livid. Yes, isn't it, said Paley, the surprised host. Besides, it's Saturday. How do you find the boys? I asked Livid, the progenitor. American, rowdy, uncontrolled, but you look well, Faith, plumper, but womanly and well. Very well, said Paley, pleased. But the boys, Faith, shouldn't they be started on something? Just lining up little plastic cowboys. It's silly, really. They're so young, apologized Paley, the used boy-raiser. You'd both better go to work, I suggested, knotting the pearl-gray late-afternoon thread. Please put the dishes in the sink first. Please. I'm sorry about the eggs. Livid yawned, stretched, peeked at the clock, sighed. Saturday or no, alas, my time is not my own. I've got an appointment downtown in about 45 minutes, he said. I do too, said Paley. I'll join you on the subway. I'm taking a cab, said Livid. I'll split it with you, said Paley. They left for the bathroom, where they shared things nicely. Shaving equipment, washstand, shower, and so forth. I made the beds and put the aluminum cot away. Livid would find a hotel room by nightfall. I did the dishes and organized the greedy day. Dinosaurs in the morning, park in the afternoon, peanut butter in between. And at the end of it all, to reward us for a week of beans endured, a noble rib roast with little onions, dumplings, and pink applesauce. Faith, I'm going now, Livid called from the hall. I put my shopping list aside and went to collect the boys, who were wandering among the rooms looking for Robin Hood. Go say goodbye to your father, I whispered. Which one? They asked. The real father, I said. Richard ran to Livid. They shook hands manfully. Paley embraced Tonto, and was kissed 11 times for his affection. Goodbye now, Faith, said Livid. Call me if you want anything at all. Anything at all, my dear. Warmly, with sweet propriety, he kissed my cheek. Ascendant, Paley kissed me with considerable business behind the ear. Goodbye, I said to them. I must admit that they were at last clean and neat, rather attractive, shiny men in their 30s, with the grand affairs of the day ahead of them. Dark night, the search for pleasure and oblivion were well ahead. Goodbye, I said. Have a nice day. Goodbye, they said once more, and set off in pride on paths which are not my concern. A subject of childhood. At home, one Saturday and every Saturday, Richard drew 8x11 portraits of stick men waving their arms. Tonto held a plastic horse in his hand and named it Tonto because its eyes were painted blue as his had been. I revised the hem of last year's dress in order to be up to the minute, chic and au courant in the midst of spring. Strangers would murmur, "Look at her, isn't she wonderful? Who's her couturier?" Clifford scrubbed under the shower, singing a Russian folk song. He rose in a treble of cold water to high sea, followed by the scourging of the flesh. At last, after 4 hots and 3 colds, he was strong and happy, and he entered the living room, a steaming emanation. His face was round and rosy. He was noticeably hairless on the head. What prevented rain and shower water from running foolishly down his face? Heavy, dark, down-sloping brows. Beneath these, his eyes were round and dark, amazed. This Clifford, my close friend, was guileless. He would not hurt a fly, and he was a vegetarian. As always, he was glad to see us. He had wrapped a large sunbathing towel around his damp body. "Behold the man!" he shouted, and let the towel fall. He stood for a moment, gleaming and pleasant. Richard and Tonto glanced at him. "Cover yourself, for God's sakes, Clifford," I said. "Take it easy, Faith," he called to the ear of reason. "The world is changing." Actually, propriety did not embarrass him, it did not serve him. He peeked from behind the rubber plant where his pants under and over were heaped. When he reappeared, snapped and buttoned, he said, wake up! What's everyone slouching around for?" He poked Richard in the tummy. "Little muscle tone there, boy. Wake up!" Richard said, "I want to draw, Clifford." "You can draw any time. I'm not always here. Draw tomorrow, Rich. Come on, fight me." "Fight!" "Come on, boy, let's go. Get me." "You better get started, Richie, 'cause I'm going to really punch you one. Here I come, ready or not." "Here I come," said Tonto, dropping his horse, and he whacked Clifford hard across the kidneys. "Who did that?" asked Clifford. "What boy did that?" Me, said Tonto, jumping up and down. "Did I hurt you bad?" "Killed me, yes, sir, yes, you did, and now I'm going to get you." He whirled. "I'm going to tickle you, that's what." He raised Tonto high above his head, a disposable item, then pitched him into the air-foam belly of the couch. Richard tiptoed with the teddy bear to a gentle rise, the sofa cushion, from which he crowned Clifford 3 times. Oh, I'm getting killed," cried Clifford. "They're all after me. They're very rough." Richard kicked him in the shin. "That's it," said Clifford. "Get it out. Get it all out, boys. Out. Tonto spit right into his eye. He wiped his cheek. He feinted and dodged the teddy bear that was coming down again on his bowed head. Tonto leaped onto his back and got hold of his ears. "Ouch," said Clifford. Richard found a tube of rubber cement in the bookcase and squirted it at Clifford's hairy chest. "I'm wild," said Richard. I'm wild." "So am I," said Tonto. "I'm the wildest boy in the whole park." He tugged at Clifford's ears. "I'll ride you away. I'm an elephant boy." "He's a lazy camel," screamed Richard. "Bubbles, I want you to work." "Pretend I'm the gin," said Tonto in a high wail. "Get up, Clifford." Me, said Richard, sinking to the floor. "It's me. I'm a poison snake," he said, slithering to Clifford's foot. "I'm a poison snake," he said, resting his chin on Clifford's instep. "I'm a terrible poison snake," he swore. Then he raised his head like the adder he is, and after a prolonged hiss, with all his new front teeth, he bit poor Clifford above the bone in his Achilles heel, which is his weak left ankle. "Oh, no," Clifford moaned, then folded neatly at all joints. Mommy, cried Richard, for Clifford fell 12 stone on him. "Oh, it's me," screamed Tonto, an elephant boy thrown by his horse headlong into a trap of table legs. "And he was the one I reached first. I hugged him to my lap. Mommy," he sobbed, "my head hurts me. I wish I could get inside you." Richard lay a crushed snake in the middle of the floor, without breath, without tears, angry. Well, what of Clifford? He had hoisted his sorrowful self into an armchair, and lay there, lisping on a bloody tongue which he himself had bitten. Faith, the accumulator. Bruised and tear-stricken, the children agreed to go to bed. They forgot to say it was too early to nap. They forgot to ask for their bears. They lay side by side and clutched each other's thumb. Here was the love that myth or legend has imposed on brothers. I re-entered the living room where Clifford sat, a cone like an astrologer's hat on his skin-punctured place. Just exactly there, universal energies converged. The stationary sun, the breathless air in which the planets swing, were empowered now to make him well, to act in their remarkable art, like aspirin. "We've got to have a serious talk," he said. "I really can't take those kids. I mean, Faith, you know yourself I've tried and tried, but you've done something to them, corrupted their instincts in some way or other. Here we were having an absolutely marvelous time, rolling around, making all kinds of free noise, and look what happened. Like every other time, someone got hurt. I mean, I'm really hurt. We should have all been relaxed. Easy. It should have been all easy. Our bodies should have been so easy. No one should have been hurt, Faith." "You mean it's my fault you all got hurt?" "No doubt about it, Faith. You've done a rotten job." "Rotten job," I said. "Lousy," he said. I gave him one more chance. "Lousy?" I asked. "Oh, my God, stinking," he said. Therefore the following, a compendium of motivations and griefs, life to date. Truthfully, Mondays through Fridays, because of success at work, my ego is hot. I am a star. Whoever can be warmed by me, I may oblige. The flat scale stones of abuse that fly into that speedy atmosphere are utterly consumed. Untouched, I glow my little thermodynamic way. On Saturday mornings in my own home, however, I face the sociological law called the obtrusion of incontrovertibles. For I have raised these kids with one hand typing behind my back to earn a living. I have raised them all alone, without a father to identify themselves with in the bathroom like all the other little boys in the playground. Laugh. I was forced by inclement management into a yellow dog contract with Bohemia, such as it survives. I have stuck by it, despite the encroachments of kind relatives who offer ski pants, piano lessons, tickets to the rodeo. Meanwhile, I have serviced Richard and Tonto, taught them to keep clean, and hold an open heart on the subjects of childhood. We have, in fact, risen mightily from toilets in the hall and scavenging in great cardboard boxes at the Salvation Army for underwear and socks. It has been my perversity to do this alone, except for the 1 year their father was living in Chicago with Claudia Lowenstill, and she was horrified that he only sent bicycles on the 5th birthday. A whole year of gas and electricity, rent and phone payments followed. One day, she caught him in the swiveling light of truth, a grand figure who took a strong stand on a barrel of soap suds and went down clean. He is now on the Gold Coast of another continent, enchanted by the survival of clandestine civilizations. Courts of kitchen drama cannot touch him. All the same, I gave Clifford one more opportunity to renege and be my friend. I said, "Stinking? I raised them lousy?" This time he didn't bother to answer, because he had become busy gathering his clothes from different parts of the room. Air was filtering out of my 2 collapsing lungs. Water rose, bubbling to enter, and I would have died of instantaneous pneumonia, something I never have heard of, if my hand had not got hold of a glass ashtray and, entirely apart from my personal decision, flung it. Clifford was on his hands and knees looking for the socks he'd left under the armchair on Friday. His back was to me, his head convenient to the trajectory, and he would have passed away a blithering idiot had I not been blind with tears and only torn off what is anyway a vestigial earlobe. Still, Clifford is a gentle person, a consortment of sweet dispositions. The sight of all the blood paralyzed him. He hulked. Shuddering, he waited on his knees to be signaled once more by Death, the sheriff from the sticks. "You don't say stupid things like that to a woman," I whispered. "You damn jackass. You just don't say anything like that to a woman. Wash yourself, you moron. You're bleeding to death." I left him alone to tie a tourniquet around his windpipe, or doctor himself according to present-day plans for administering first aid in the great globular and coming war. I tiptoed into the bedroom to look at the children. They were asleep. I covered them and kissed Tonto, my baby, and "Richard, what a big boy you are," I said. I kissed him too. I sat on the floor, rubbing my cheek on Richard's rubbly fleece blanket until their sweet breathing and deep sleep quieted me. A couple of hours later, Richard and Tonto woke up, picking their noses, sneezing, grumpy, then glad. They admired the tic-tac-toes of Band-Aid I had created to honor their wounds. Richard ate soup, and Tonto ate ham. They didn't inquire about Clifford, since he had a key which had always opened the door in or out. That key lay at rest in the earth of my rubber plant. I felt discontinued. There was no one I wanted to offer it to. "Still hungry, boys?" I asked. "No, sir," said Tonto. "I'm full up to here," leveling at the eyes. "I'll tell you what," I came through with a stunning notion. "Go on down and play." "Don't shove, miss," said Richard. I looked out the front window. 4 flights below, armed to the teeth, Lester Stutkopf waited for the enemy. Carelessly, I gave Richard this classified information. "Is he all alone?" asked Richard. "He is," I said. Okay. Richard gazed sadly at me. "Only faith. Remember, I'm going down because I feel like it, not because you told me." "Well, naturally," I said. "Not me," said Tonto. "Oh, don't be silly. You go too, Tonto. It's so nice and sunny. Take your new guns that Daddy sent you. Go on, Tonto." "No, sir. I hate Richard, and I hate Lester. I hate those guns. They're baby guns. He thinks I'm a baby. You better send him a picture. Oh, Tonto. He thinks I suck my thumb. He thinks I wet my bed. That's why he sends me baby guns. Oh, no, no, honey. You're no baby. Everybody knows you're a big boy. He is not, said Richard. And he does so suck his thumb, and he does so wet his bed. Richard, I said, Richard, if you don't have anything good to say, shut your rotten mouth. That doesn't help Tonto to keep reminding him. Goodbye, said Richard, refusing to discuss, but very high and firstborn. Sometimes he is nasty, but he is never lazy. He returned in 45 seconds from the first floor to shout, As long as he doesn't wet my bed, what do I care? Tonto did not hear him. He was brushing his teeth, which he sometimes does vigorously 7 times a day, hoping they will loosen. I think they are loosening. I served myself hot coffee in the living room. I organized comfort in the armchair, poured the coffee black into a white mug that said, Mama, tapped cigarette ash into a ceramic, hand hollowed by Richard. I looked into the square, bright window of daylight to ask myself the sapping question, What is man that woman lies down to adore him? At the very question mark, Tonto came softly, sneaky in socks, to say, I have to holler something to Richard, Mother. Don't lean out that window, Tonto, please, it makes me nervous. I have to tell him something. No. Oh, yes, he said. It's awful important, Faith. I really have to. How could I permit it? If he should fall, everyone would think I had neglected them, drinking beer in the kitchen or putting eye cream on at the vanity table behind closed doors. Besides, I would be bereaved forever. My grandmother mourned all her days for some kid who died of earache at the age of 5. All the other children, in their own municipal pension and federal welfare years, gathered to complain at her deathside when she was 91, and heard her murmur, Oh, Anita, oh, breathe a little. Try to breathe, my little baby. With tears in my eyes, I said, Okay, Tonto, I'll hold on to you. You can tell Richard anything you have to. He leaned out onto the air. I held fast to one thick little knee. Richie, he howled. Richie! Hey, Richie! Richard looked up, probably shielding his eyes, searching for the voice. Richie, hey! Listen, I'm playing with your new birthday present Army Ford and all them men. Then he banged the window shut as though he knew nothing about the nature of glass and tore into the bathroom to brush his teeth once more in triumphant ritual. Singing through toothpaste and gargle, I bet he's mad, and in a lower key, he deserves it. He stinks. So do you, I shouted furiously. While I sighed for my grandmother's loss, he had raised up his big mouth against his brother. You really stink. Now listen to me. I want you to get out of here. Go on down and play. I need 10 minutes all alone. Anthony, I might kill you if you stay up here. He reappeared, smelling like peppermint sticks at Christmas. He stood on one foot, looked up into my high eyes, and said, Okay, Faith, kill me. I had to sit immediately then, so he could believe I was his size and stop picking on me. Please, I said gently, go out with your brother. I have to think, Tonto. I don't want to. I don't want to have to go any place I don't want to. I want to stay right here with you. Oh, please, Tonto. I have to clean the house. You won't be able to do a thing or start a good game or anything. I don't care, he said. I want to stay here with you. I want to stay right next to you. Okay, Tonto, okay. I'll tell you what. Go to your room for a couple of minutes, honey. Go ahead. No, he said, climbing onto my lap. I want to be a baby and stay right next to you every minute. Oh, Tonto, I said. Please, Tonto. I tried to pry him loose, but he put his arm around my neck and curled up right there in my lap, thumb in mouth, to be my baby. Oh, Tonto, I said, despairing of one solitary minute. Why can't you go play with Richard? You'll have fun. No, he said. I don't care if Richard goes away or Clifford. They can do whatever they want to do. I don't even care. I'm never going to go away. I'm going to stay right next to you forever, Faith. Oh, Tonto, I said. He took his thumb out of his mouth and placed his open hand, its fingers stretching wide across my breast. I love you, Mama, he said. Love. I said, oh, love, Anthony, I know. I held him so and rocked him. I cradled him. I closed my eyes and leaned on his dark head. but the sun in its course emerged from among the water towers of downtown office buildings, and suddenly shone white and bright on me. Then, through the short fat fingers of my son, interred forever, like a black and white barred king in Alcatraz, my heart lit up in stripes.